Welcome to Simple Review, the series where I briefly play a game, review it, and keep it simple. In today's review, I'm covering the multiplayer features of a top-down action game called Unsighted. When playing this game, you will have 3 modes to play, which can all be played in local co-op with up to 1 other person. These 3 game modes are Main Story, Dungeon Raid, and Boss Rush. The main story will drop you and a friend in a world where humans and robots fought in a war. A substance that prevents robots from becoming mindless, killing machines is running thin. It is your job to solve this problem before the time runs out for you and the other robots. This is done by finding 5 meteor shards scattered around the world. If you fail to find them within the time limit, you must start over. 3 difficulties will be available which affect this gameplay. You have the easiest mode, which will eliminate all the timers and make enemies easier. You have the normal mode, which will have the standard timers and enemies, and the hardest difficulty, which will greatly reduce the timers and make enemies more challenging. The Dungeon Raid mode is a roguelike mode that will task you and a friend to complete a dungeon without dying. If both of you die, you reset. Before getting into the dungeon, you will have a few random weapons and upgrades to choose from. The Boss Rush mode is exactly what it sounds like. You and a friend will fight bosses after bosses until you defeat them all. Now when it comes to gameplay, you have a pretty simple combat system where you attack, parry, and dodge. Loot is shared, but both players can build their character how they would like. The type of loot that you may find will be crafting resources, weapons, and upgrade chips. Upgrade chips grant special stats and abilities such as increased health, increased damage, and so on. Dying in the story mode will cause a small amount of the in-game currency to be dropped. This can be retrieved if you return to your place of death. If only one person dies, they can be revived at a computer station scattered around the world. Besides combat, you can talk to NPCs and gather some lore about what has happened. And that's all that this game has to offer. Now, from my experience, I'd have to say I really enjoyed this game. The multiplayer functionality was everything you could hope for. Loot was shared, and you had the ability to build out your own character even though you were playing locally. Playing with a friend never felt like a disadvantage and made puzzle solving easier. If anything, playing with a friend made the game easier in general. Enemies are normally distracted with one player, so the friend can easily throw out some damage and secure the kill. Beyond the multiplayer features, I found the gameplay loop to be fun and interesting. The story was a little basic, but having a timer made the whole experience intense and encouraged us to push our co-op skills. The only thing I could complain about is that the characters, when playing co-op, look very similar and at times can blend in with what's going on. I'd like to see some accessibility options added to the game to highlight your character or something to that degree. So with all that being said, I'd have to give this game 9 pepperonis out of 10. Unsighted provided an excellent co-op experience that will push your cooperation skills to the next level. And that'll do it for this review. If you found this review to be helpful or you would like to see more reviews, please leave a like, subscribe, and check out my channel where I post game reviews and game guides.